You've spoken with Anthony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Harv Ekel, legends around the world.
For me, it's mission driven. I believe it's my God-given purpose to teach other people, inspire them, empower them.
What do you think about India right now? The world is kind of talking about India right now, right? What do you think about India?
What I've noticed is the energy, the vibration, they take education, you take education seriously. You want to change, you want to transform, you want to elevate.
Can you tell what is financial freedom according to your definition of it?
Creating a situation where you're not relying on anyone else for money.
Most of us know what we need to do. But do we do it consistently? It's the question, right? What you know is 1%. What you think you don't know is 4%. What you don't know that you don't know is 95%.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know you don't know, right?
Exactly.
How to build a great championship team?
Hire 8 players with the right attitude for me. And number 2, get the whole team on board through a code of honor that everyone follows.
Can everyone start a business?
Yes, anyone can start a business, but not everyone should start a business.
Who should not start a business?
The person who shouldn't start a business is someone.
I am so looking forward for this conversation. Someone who's traveled 50 plus countries. The last 20 years, I think, 2 decades, right?
2 decades.
And trained more than 2 lakh people. Mac, thank you for being here. I'm super excited. Today's conversation is going to be around business, marketing, sales, branding, fitness.
Yeah.
And for guys, you kindly start guessing his age, okay? I'm not going to tell now. Keep guessing his age before you come in. You've spoken with Anthony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Harv Ekel, legends around the world.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is, after 20 years, how does it feel doing what you do?
After 20 years doing what I do, I just love it because for me, it's mission driven. I believe it's my God-given purpose to teach other people, inspire them, empower them. And the reason how that came about was my own personal failures that I turned around, and I started to think, if other people are, if I was challenged that way and failed that way, what about these other people? So when I turned things around, my focus was really helping others.
Thank you, Mac, because that's something we're going to talk how you got started. Because I really believe we are in a world where people have 10,000 followers, they are lonely. That's the world we are living in, right? The basics are covered, but I think people really need help.
Yeah.
People have forgotten how to connect, be happy. And I'm so happy the work you do is really making a massive difference. I want to thank you for coming to India from 2014. That's the first time we met.
Yes.
And almost every year you've been coming except the COVID year.
Yeah.
And because of you, because you came and spoke in Millionaire Mind Intensive, thousands of people's life has changed. So I just want to take this moment to say a big thank you from the team of Success Gyan and everyone here for you to come every year and make a difference. So big thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. In fact.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. You've spoken with a lot of people. Let me take Anthony Robbins, right? One of the biggest giants in personal growth. What is that one thing you are always inspired or you learned from him? What is that one thing? If I just say
Robbins,
one thing.
One of the things that, I've been to his seminars, I've read his books, but one of the things that sticks out to me all the time is he said this sentence that has always stuck with me. In your moment of decision, your destiny is shaped. Wow. In your moment of decision, your destiny is shaped. So when I was going through my struggles and I would make excuses, I can't do this because of my team, I can't do this because of this, I don't have money. In the moment of decision, your destiny is shaped. So every time I had to make a tough decision, which very, very tough, I know that it creates an upward trajectory. Rather than making no decision, a lot of people make no decision and actually they think everything will be okay. No, they start going down. It becomes a downward trajectory. So whenever you're going through something tough, knowing that, why are you doing this? Where are you going? And so for me, that's one of the quotes that's always stuck with me.
I think it's very, very powerful because I also believe that decisions you take when you're down determines how you go in life.
Yes.
As simple as that. Those are very critical moments in life.
Yeah.
What do you do at that time? I always feel when you're going bottom, I think it's a gift.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you have all the chance to bounce back and reach wherever you want. So it's what you're saying. Okay, Mac, India, you've been coming from 2014.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. You've met people, you've seen a lot of success stories out of this. What do you think about India right now? The world is kind of talking about India right now, right? What do you think about India?
You know, the world is looking at India now, but you may recall maybe around 5 or 6 years ago, probably 7 years ago now, because I've been coming to India since 2014. And every time I go back to London, to the UK, I'll say, there's things happening in India, my friends. What you are doing is nothing. These guys have taken it to a whole new level. People say, yeah, no. And around 6 or 7 years ago, the GDP of India surpassed the UK.
Yep.
At the time, I think UK was 4th in terms of global GDP.
Yeah.
India was 5,
Yeah.
right? 2 years later, flipped. And India continues to grow whilst the UK seems to be in regression,
Yep.
right? So what I've noticed is the energy, the vibration, they take education, you take education seriously. You want to change, you want to transform, you want to elevate. Whereas in the UK, we can be a bit more relaxed, not as hungry. I'm generalizing. So yeah, so I'm very inspired by what goes on here in India.
I think it's the shining period in India. It's the golden period, I would call it. I think next 15, 20 years, it's going to be a real good time. And I always say, if you're a business owner at this time, there is no reason, no excuse you can give that you're not successful.
Yeah.
Because you want to get a better country, better time, better economy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited of this conversation because we're going to talk a lot about business. Marketing, sales, branding. I know you're the man. I'm going to really pull that out of you.
Yes.
And let me start. How did this all start? I want to know your story. How did you get into training, teaching, coaching? How did that happen?
How did it all happen? Well, many years ago, I never envisaged myself as a trainer, as a speaker, as an author. And what had happened was, many years ago, I started my first company about 26 years ago. And there came a time when my 2 business partners that I was working with, who had joined the company, siphoned a lot of money from the business. I didn't realize till it was too late. Creditors became chasing after me. So now to pay my staff, to pay the creditors, look after my family, I started borrowing money on credit cards, getting loans. And now I'm in debt to the tune of $100,000, money that I owed people. And at the time...
That time was a lot of money, right? 26 years before, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Not now, I can make that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then it was... So at the time, my wife was pregnant with our second child. And I'm trying to fix my business. And I'm working all these hours, 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day, not sleeping much. And I was heading for burnout. And I'm hardly at home. And my wife and I are always arguing when I'm at home. And there was one evening when I was driving home from my office. And I remember stopping my car in this parking lot. And I sat there with my hands on the wheels, sitting there sobbing, feeling sorry for myself. And at that time for me, I think it was at my lowest point. I just wanted to give up. And all I could think of in my mind was, Mac, you're such a failure. You're such a failure. See, I'm not a bad person. I work hard. But I started to think, why am I failing? Why am I failing? And that evening when I eventually got home, it was all a blur. I don't remember it. But the next few days, I started realizing, I've got to study this. I've got to study how successful people create success, how rich people become rich, how they create great businesses. So I went on a journey of self-discovery, and that's what happened. I started reading books, again, because I hadn't been involved in that kind of education since I graduated. So going to seminars and workshops in London and going through this kind of education started to change my mindset, for me to look at things differently. And through that, I was able to fix my business, and I sold that business. When I sold that business, I started in getting involved in other businesses and investing in other businesses, investing in real estate property. So the first time I created financial freedom, in a sense that I didn't have to worry about money, I sat there and started thinking, okay, I'm not worried about money. What is it am I supposed to be really doing? What am I supposed to be doing in my life? And that's when I realized I've got to live what I believe my God-given purpose and mission is. And it became very clear to me. I wrote it down. It became very clear that for the rest of my life, it's to inspire, educate, and empower people to live a life of joy, courage, passion, and purpose. And I tell you, Suren, every morning when I wake up and I'm doing that, I feel blessed and I feel I'm doing the right thing. And so that's how that happened. From failure to fixing my situation and realizing, actually, I'm going to commit the rest of my life helping others to do the same.
Thank you, Mac. Just what you covered. I have 5-6 questions popping in my head.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the first one. For people watching this podcast, if they're going through serious challenges like what you went through, correct? What would the steps you will tell them, right? What will you say? Okay, if you're really going through something which is not working in your worst low, if you just say 1, 2, 3, what would these steps be? What is your advice to them?
I would say not even 3 steps, 5 steps that I call the fundamentals of success. Fundamentals of success in anything, whether it's parenting, sports, business. It's these fundamentals, because you know what it's like, Suren. Once you've achieved something, you look back, how did I do that? Yeah. Whereas at the beginning, it was such a challenge. I couldn't. So the first thing is get clear on what is it you want. So clarity.
Clarity. Yeah.
Clarity is so important, because if you're not clear, anything might seem good. Get clear on what you want. Write it down. I want to achieve this by a certain date. Get clarity. Once you've got clarity, now you know what to focus on. So the second step is focus. Now we live in a world of distractions.
Yes.
As you know.
Yes.
We live in a world of distractions. Actually, I'm going to give you number 2 to 4. Then I'm going to give you number 1.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to go in a very strange order.
Okay.
So number 2 is clarity. Number 3 is the focus.
Focus.
We live in a world of distractions. Social media, TV, Netflix, all these things are designed to distract us from. So get clear on what you want. Then you know what to focus on. Then you know what to say no to when people keep approaching you or pushing you into different projects. Next thing is action. Once you have that focus, take the action every single day in that direction. Stick to it. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Do the right action. The last thing is the discipline. Number 5 is the discipline. Do you have the discipline to follow through on what you're supposed to be focused on and what actions you're supposed to be taking? And some people have discipline, but do you know what, Suren? Most people don't have the right discipline.
Yes.
And this is where education comes in. This is where coaches, mentors, advisors, because as you know, anyone who's achieved anything at a very high level have had some kind of support, some kind of discipline, right? Whether it's a sports person, an athlete, you know, there are some athletes I've studied that they are not disciplined in their sport, but because they want to win that gold medal and because they have that coach kicking their butt, they turn up, they show up, they train. And so I intentionally discipline myself by having the right coaches around me as well. Right. So number 1.
Yeah, I know. You're just waiting for me the one. Okay, we have clarity, focus, action, discipline. I want to talk about discipline, but tell me number 1 first.
Discipline, right? So discipline, especially if you're not getting the result you want, and other people are, there is something they're doing that's different. It's usually around discipline. Number 1 is this, and I learned this from one of my mentors who became a friend later on, and we toured around the world, and his name is Les Brown. And he said, you've got to be hungry. Right? I sat in a seminar, and when he said that, it was just like, whoa, hit me. It's like, you've got to be hungry. And if you're not, so for me, it's become
it's
more
like
than
why.
desire.
Why do you want to do it?
Yeah, it's the why. It's more than desire, more than purpose. It's if you're not hungry for it, why will you wake up and go and do it every day? You won't have the motivation. So why are you doing this? And Eric Thomas says this. He says, when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, you know, when you die, if you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then it'll give you the motivation. It'll give you the mindset of whatever it takes to go and make that happen. So what is it you want? So when I was struggling and I was broke and my relationship with my wife wasn't that great, and I wasn't seeing my first child very much, and business wasn't going well. And I started being, when I heard that, I said, okay, I've got to be hungry. What am I hungry for? I'm hungry for financial freedom. I'm hungry to spend time with my family. And thank goodness that I started taking action. Now I've been married with my wife. Next month, we celebrate 25 years of marriage.
Okay, 25 years,
25
silver
years.
jubilee. I think people now are guessing your age now.
Oh, 25 years of marriage. And that all came from education. That came from knowing what I want, being hungry for that. And so knowing what to say no to, so I can be clear, this is where I'm going.
That was a brilliant 5-pointer. So you're saying first hungry. You have
Hungry.
to be hungry.
You have to be hungry.
You have to be hungry. Let's start with
Yeah.
that, right? Okay, now let's talk about discipline. Before that, you said you became financially free when you went on this learning journey, started
Yeah.
taking action, discipline. Can you explain to us what is financial freedom? Because all of us hear this term,
Yeah.
right? Can you tell what is financial freedom according to your definition of it?
Yeah. So my definition of financial freedom is creating a situation where you're not relying on anyone else for money. In other words, you can work if you choose to, but it's not an obligation. You don't have to. So, but the good thing is I love working. I love helping people. So financial freedom is having a situation where you have enough passive income coming in where you are not and it covers all your expenses and you're not relying on anyone else for money. And by passive income, what I mean by that is setting up a system, whether it's a business or another type of system, where you are getting this money coming in without having to work every hour of the day for it. Maybe you have to work a few hours. Maybe you have to work an hour a day or a week or whatever. But you've set up this system that no matter what, as long as you're maintaining it, if enough of that passive income is coming in and it covers all your expenses, you're okay, you're good, you're
So
free.
basically you set up systems, either investments or assets which give you money,
Yeah.
where the money is more than your current lifestyle.
Current expenses, absolutely.
Whatever expenses
Yeah,
your lifestyle, which
exactly.
means more than that, then you don't need to work for money. Money is working for you, a business is working for you.
Correct.
And you choose to work or not. It's up to you.
Absolutely.
That's your
Absolutely,
choice.
Yes.
So that's your definition. I think
Yeah.
it's a brilliant definition for anybody watching this. I think everyone's goal should be financial freedom first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you do work in such a way that you can build systems, and in one point of time where the revenue coming to you, whether you're spending time or not, is more than your lifestyle, then you know you're financially free.
Yeah.
Mac, I'm going to ask you this question. Discipline. I think though you put it fifth, I think that's the most important thing people need to work for, because most of us know what we need to do.
Uh-huh.
But do we do it consistently? It's the
Yeah.
question, right? That's the question.
Yeah.
So
People
tell me,
don't
yeah, everyone knows what to do. Today
Yeah.
is in a world where we are in ChatGPT.
Yes.
All the information is available.
Free.
Everything is there.
Yeah.
So it's not that people don't know what to do. They know what to do. But for some reason, they don't do it consistently.
Yeah.
Or they self-sabotage them. Can you tell us how to get that discipline in life? Let's start with that.
Very, very good. Very good. I'll tell you my story and why I discovered these fundamentals of success. When I was struggling in business, in money, in my relationship, and when I went on this education path, I realized I'd been practicing martial arts consistently for right now I've been practicing martial arts for over 43 years.
I know
right?
you are a
Right.
black belt
Sixth
in
dan
Taekwondo.
black belt.
Sixth Dan black belt in Taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
Wow.
Right.
Sixth.
Right.
Wow.
So Taekwondo I've been practicing for 25 years or so. But before that, different forms, different styles. And when I started recalling back and I was thinking, okay, how did I succeed in martial arts? I became a London judo champion. I became a black belt in judo. I represented London. I went to the UK national championships in Taekwondo. I became a national champion, 6 Dan in black. Why was I succeeding in those areas? I realized I had an instructor who was pushing me in that way. I had an instructor. I had instructors or masters or grandmasters. Right now, it's Grandmaster Trevor Nichols who trains me. But with that, there are no excuses. There is no I can't. There is so when you show up, you have to be able to demonstrate. If you can't demonstrate, you didn't practice. And so I started thinking, why was I succeeding in those areas? And many years ago in my business, why was I failing? I was failing because I thought I knew it all. I was failing because I thought because I had an MBA that I knew everything in business. And what I soon came to realize that your academic success doesn't equal entrepreneurial and money success.
Can you please tell it again?
What I started to realize is your academic success doesn't equal entrepreneurial and money success. And I'd stopped educating. I stopped learning when I was broke. And I had no mentors, I wasn't going to any workshops, no classes. I wasn't reading books I thought I knew everything. So if I knew everything, why was I failing? So in hindsight, I started thinking, okay, if I was succeeding there, and what if I study these things? I've got the right mentors around me, the right advisors for me. So if anyone's right now struggling, can't figure it out, maybe you're trying to figure it out on your own. And the limitation you have is what you know. There's a whole raft of things that you may not even be aware of that can get you to where you want to go quicker, simpler, and much easier.
I agree, Mac, because I wrote a quote a few years before, and this is what it says. What you know is 1%. What you think you don't know is 4%. What you don't know that you don't know is 95%.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know you don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So this is why I admire the work you do. So when you say, Matt, come to India, and it's part of my mission, because there are people who don't know they don't know.
Correct.
They don't even know. That means if you were to surrender and drop the ego, you could actually succeed much faster.
Yes.
So when Success Gyan, you and your team are doing what they're doing and making people aware, that's when they come to it. When they come to your room, they have a realization, oh, where have I been? Why haven't I seen this 10 years ago, 20 years ago? You understand what I'm saying?
Always. Everyone says, I should have come 20 years before. Why did I know it? Yeah, same thing.
Right, because at that time, the moment they say it, that means then they're ready to be open and learn, to say, actually, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. And so what I say is, if you are in a challenge, you're in a place that is uncomfortable, it's not permanent. It is temporary. You're not going to be there forever. As long as you are willing to learn, because whatever you want to achieve, someone has already done it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Someone's already done it, been there, probably in a worse situation than you've been. So you can do it, but you have to be willing to change the mindset. Like T.R. Vecker says, that your wealth can only grow to the extent that you grow.
Yes.
Which applies to the same thing as your success or your business or your money. Your business, your money, your success can only grow to the extent that you grow. And so what does that mean? The extent that I grow? Well, if there is missing information you have, learn it, become bigger than your problems and challenges. The moment you become bigger than your problems and challenges, you'll look at it later on thinking, oh, that was no problem. But when you are not there, when you are not working on yourself, when you're not growing yourself, you'll be stuck in that arena.
So Mac, that's something which everyone need to think if they're going through that, because that's all they need to do. If they're open, they're willing to learn, the people who've been there, done that, and they're going to show them how it can be done. And it shows a world of opportunities, right?
Yes.
I always tell, when you come to any of our programs or any program, it just opens a world of opportunities which you never thought was existing in the first place. And that's where the magic starts happening. Okay, I'm going to ask you, not many people know that you were awarded 1 year UK's #1 executive business coach, right?
Oh, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And I know you work with a lot of business owners. You do a lot of business coaching. You're an expert in marketing. You're an expert in sales. So we're going to jump into that.
Sure.
Let's talk about a little entrepreneurship here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of questions we get in our rooms also. One of the questions is how to build a right team. How do you have the right team? Then I always say, you don't find the right team. You find people, then you build them, right? So let's talk about a little team and leadership. How to build a great championship team. Let's start with that.
First of all, it's a great question. You know, when I was struggling in my very first business, you know, I would hire people I didn't realize I just needed a position filled and I'll put them in. And so it was an IT company I was running back in those days. But what I realized is that if you later on when I went through all my education, focus on attracting A players, not B, not C. C players will often give you a headache. They'll always demand. You remember why we're hiring them? We're hiring them because we're trying to grow the business, or there's an area of work that you don't want to be doing. And we need people in these positions. So focus on hiring A players. Now, sometimes you can hire an A player and they think they know it all because they've done it somewhere else, done it this place. But often that will give you a headache. So what I do is I look for A players, in other words, with the right attitude. And once I hire them, then I will train them into the position. So sometimes, like even if a salesperson, I'm bringing a salesperson on, they don't necessarily have to know about that particular, whether it's for my property business or it's for my education company. But if they understand sales and the fundamentals of sales, I can show them how this industry works. But when they say, oh, I've worked for this education company, we did it this way, and they come in, it doesn't fit our values, it doesn't fit our culture, it doesn't fit. So the other thing, in order to build a championship, so that's in the hiring process, but to build a championship team, one thing I learned from one of my other mentors, Blair Singer, who you know, is to have a set of rules that everyone abides by. And that set of rules that everyone abides by, regardless of position or hierarchy, he calls it the Code of Honor. So in his book, Team Code of Honor, when I came across Blair, I thought, my goodness, no wonder I was struggling in business. No wonder. Because once I implemented this Code of Honor, and everyone knows this is how we play this game. Yeah. And he went on to say that business is a team sport.
Correct.
Right? Business is a team sport. And I understand sports because I watch sports. I like football. I like all these sports.
I know, you're a big Arsenal fan.
Oh, I love Arsenal. I know, right?
I know.
And business is a team sport. I pondered about it. He's right. So I have to get these people into positions and get everyone playing by the same set of rules so we can win. And so those are the two things. Hire 8 players with the right attitude for me. And number 2, get the whole team on board through a code of honor that everyone follows, which is a set of rules, regardless of what position you hold.
That's a good way to start. Before I ask the next question, I just want to take this moment and thank, I call him the master of masters, Blair Singer.
Yeah.
Every single coach in the world who's gone to train the trainer, learned, have become the best of the best in the world, right? It's
Absolutely.
Because of that one man's vision to make a massive difference in the world.
Yeah.
So I just want to take this moment and thank you, Blair, for doing what you do. Without you, we could have never done what you have done. A big thank you.
Yeah.
Now to the question. You say identify A players. How do I identify somebody's A player?
Yeah.
If they come for an interview, how can we do that?
Right, very good. The way I do it is this. You know, typically people go to an interview and some people are what I call professional interviewees. they know the questions.
They know the right answers.
They know the right answers. They prepared. So the way I do it is I pose a challenge or a situation. I say, okay, if you were working for our company and this came up, how would you handle it? So I want you to talk me through not how you would do it, but what you did in the past and what steps did you take to do something like that? Right, so now I'm listening. Okay, so if they have done it before, they will tell me step by step that I did this, then I did this, and this is how I overcame it. This is who I got involved. This is a system I set up. They can talk me through it. If they haven't done it before, typically it'll be, I think I'll do it this way, and if it doesn't work, then maybe I'll try it this way. So I'm not asking you to make it up.
Yeah.
I'm asking you for experience.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I know you've done it. And if you get stuck and you're not sure, because you're taking me through a timeline. You did this, then you did this. You did this didn't work, you did this, and you got this person involved, that person. Tell me through the timeline. And it becomes almost a story, which I can follow through rather than you making it up. I'm not hiring you to come and make it up because I'm paying you all these dollars to come back. No, you're coming in to solve a problem in that position. And so that's how I identify them. And let me take you through sales, for example. When I'm looking for a salesperson, before the interview stage, I've already done my best to reject them.
How do you do that?
All right. So when my team puts the ad out, I write the ad because I know exactly what I want. When they put it out, it's written in a certain way. So, for example, it might say, if you're interested in this, we write it all up. If you're interested in this position, call this number between 12 and 1 p.m.
Okay.
Right.
You want to
for
see
example.
how serious they are.
Yeah. If you can't call between 12 and 1 p.m. and if it's engaged, let's see how long you stay on. Okay. Now, yeah, call this number between 1 to 2 p.m. or 1 to 3 p.m. or whatever. And Monday to Friday. Now, the other thing, when they do call, my team are trained and myself, when they do call, within the first 5 minutes, the question is, so tell me, why do you think you're a high-performing salesperson?
That's the first question.
That's the first question. So let me so they start talking. And regardless of what they say, I say, I'm not hearing the characteristics of a high-performing salesperson.
Okay, you really
I just tell them, I'm not hearing that. Regardless of what they say, they might be telling me some good thing. I'm not hearing the characteristics. So this might go on for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, tell me really why you think you are a high-performing salesperson. And the poor, the people who've never done it before, who can't, there's nothing else I have.
So thank
I'll
you.
say,
They'll get the phone.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. I wish you the best in your search for work. Those who are really good, 10 minutes on, they still go, let me tell you, I did this in my company. This is what I did. This were conversions. This is how we did it. This is how I approached it. Me being in your company, they go on and on. You can't even get them off the phone.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have already built a high rejection level. Those who haven't built a high rejection level come off very quickly.
Correct.
Now, why would I bring someone in who's got a low rejection level, right? Because now I'm paying them for. So let me give them a test of what they're going to face anyway.
Yep.
And if they can stay on the line and they can serve me, great. And then when they come when we do the interview process, so imagine 100 people call. It'll be narrowed down to 10 because it'll be down to 10. And those 10, there's another there's another thing I do when I'm speaking to him directly, one-on-one, or my team are speaking to them. You see, high-performing salespeople, for example, they are wired differently. Their brain is wired differently. Yes, they do sales because it helps them to make a lot of money. And the really good ones, because in my companies, what we're looking for is not anyone who can sell, but people who can sell, but also have a heart. So through the interview process, I'm checking that has this person actually had any suffering in their life? Have they had any challenge? Some of the best salespeople I've ever met. I remember one saying, I love sales. And they did everything. And this question came up in the interview. Tell me about the biggest challenge you've ever had in your life and how did you overcome it? And I remember one now and he said, I don't know what happened, but my family said I was in a coma. Okay. I was in a coma for 6 months. I don't remember anything. Something had happened to my brain. When I came out of this coma, I realized that I have to do life differently. Before that, they were partying, having fun, all this kind of stuff. And that's when he started taking his life very seriously and realizing that the family has been at his bedside, mother crying every day for 6 months. He looked at life differently. I'll give you another situation. I can go on and on, but people like that, when they are speaking to your prospect or your client, and they are going to close them, but they are coming from a place of heart. They're coming from a place of wanting to help someone to make a decision for their life, rather than just selling and then running away, and then customer service has to fix it later on. Do you understand? So there's a whole psychology of great salespeople, and same as in different positions, whether it's a customer service person or someone coming into the bookkeeping, or there's a whole psychology about the type of people that you want to get into certain positions.
So you're saying design an interview process where not only you check on the attitude, but check on the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
Just check who they are. Yeah. Why are they doing what they're doing?
Yeah.
Those are very critical because they're going to be a team player and they're going to represent your brand, product or service, right?
Correct.
You need to go a little dig deeper. So the interview process has to be much more deeper. It can't be hire fast.
No.
That's the worst recipe to do.
Oh, you know how expensive that is.
I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so hire slowly, cautiously, and because it's like the person coming in, it's like a marriage. It's like you are hopefully building something for the long term, and they may not stay with you forever because if you have got the right systems and processes they can follow, great. But when they come in, you want them to add value to your business, to your company, rather than you having to chase them. They believe in your values. You have shared values, and you can go down the same line.
I agree. That's the best way to start a relationship. That's the best way to build a team.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. Can everyone start a business?
That's such a good question. Well, okay, let me answer that directly. Yes, anyone can start a business, but not everyone should start a business.
Okay.
What I mean by that, business is pretty simple, but it's not easy. Business is simple in the sense that how do you win in business? Well, you got to find people who have a problem that they don't want. What is the problem? Once you identify what the problem is, then create a solution that answers their problem.
Correct.
Once you've created that solution, put the right price tag on it and make the offer to the right people who say they have the problem. Now, should anyone start a business? No, because what happens is it's a different mindset. An employee mindset is very different from an entrepreneur's mindset. And some employees have a very low threshold when it comes to risk. Entrepreneurs, they've accepted that the terrain, the territory is full of risk.
Yes.
But they are willing to take the calculated risk for the high reward and for the freedom of operating their business. And so I used to say many years ago that anyone can start a business and should start a business. But I've come to realize after many years of wisdom that not everyone should. Because if you can't educate yourself and create the right mindset and be able to tolerate that risk, then don't do it. However, so there is an entrepreneur who starts a business knowing that there's going to be elements of risk. But if you really want to succeed in business, and that's not you, become an intrapreneur. An intrapreneur is someone who can't take the risk, but they have a certain skill set. And I love intrapreneurs in my business. Why? Because they're thinking like an entrepreneur, but I'm taking the risk. In other words, they're coming up with ideas, they're coming up with solutions, they're coming up with all these things that helps the business. And so when we think about many, many years ago, when you think about some of the billionaires, when you think about people like Bill Gates, I think he had Steve Ballmer as an intro. When you think about Warren Buffett, Warren Buffett was a face, but in the background was Charlie Munger.
Correct.
Charlie Munger was the operations guy, right? When you think, there's so many examples of that. Jeff, when you think about Apple, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak was the brains in terms of the operations, in terms of the machinery. So can you be that? So if you really want to, and all of these people have made billions.
Yep.
So can you make billions by becoming an intrapreneur? Find an entrepreneur who you can support, become that supporter, and still make lots of money together.
So you don't need to put the money, you don't need to take the risk, but you find someone who's already got the vision, is already on a roadmap, but you go and add value.
Absolutely.
And that's where the magic happens. So that's one way to start.
Yeah.
Who should not start a business?
Who should not start
People
a business?
People who can't take risk, you already covered that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, those who can't. I think essentially that's what it is. If you are willing to live with, if you can't handle uncertainty, because as an entrepreneur, every day
that's the name of the game.
Is uncertain.
Yep.
And if you can't train yourself to accept that the terrain is uncertain, the risk you can always minimize. You can always calculate it. You can always get support. But that's an element. But the uncertainty, if you want certainty every day when you get, like if you're an employee, every day you go to work, you sit at your desk, you do what you need to do. You get paid at the end of the month or at the end of the week. But as an entrepreneur, it's uncertain because you walk in and someone say this happened or that happened. And sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news. And you have to make and get comfortable with decisions constantly. So the person who shouldn't start a business is someone who cannot handle uncertainty.
Okay, that's a nice way you put, Mac. I think that's a very good litmus test people can think about before plunging into business. Now, let me ask you this question. If you have to just give a few pointers, somebody started a business and they want to scale it to 10x, for example. What are the things they have to look at? What are the screws they have to turn to reach there?
Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. Good question. So to grow it to 10x, you've clearly got to a place where the operation's working, you're making money, you are profitable. Don't try and scale to 10x when you're not profitable yet. I caveat that with there are some companies who have done it that way. So when I think about companies like Amazon,
correct,
for many, many years, over 20, 25 years, not profitable, but they were refinancing into the company. And now
that's a different model.
It's a different model.
Completely.
But for most people, for most entrepreneurs, get the foundation right. Get the product offering right. Get the structure of the team right. Once that foundation is right, now you're going to 10x.
Which means your business is running, team is set, and you're already profitable. Now, if they're aiming at 10x, what should they do? Right.
So if you've never done 10x before in that particular, for me, education is so critical because it's the fastest path to success. Now, yes, you can do it on your own, but if you can find someone who's already done it and they can advise you or mentor you, it makes it much easier. But typically it's going to be now, you've got to have the foresight to see where we are going. So operationally, what are the areas that we need to create the right systems and processes for? What is the structure and the entity we must create in order to move into that 10x? What are the team members and their responsibilities that we have to start thinking about? So when I'm working with my clients or consulting with some clients, we on the whiteboard, we sketch where we are now in terms of what the organizational chart looks like. And a 10x company, what does that look like? And so now we know, okay, over the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, we're going to fill these positions. We have to fill these positions. And so we're looking into the future. And so the other side of it is the financing. Are you going to need more financing, external finance? Or are you reinvesting the profits into what you're doing? And so imagine your business as a machine. And that machine says we put money into here, we get these prospects, these clients coming through. And then once they've paid us, that's marketing and sales says, okay, they've paid us. Then the deliverability or the fulfillment needs to happen. What is your deliverability? What's the fulfillment? And what do you have to do to make sure that every client becomes a raving fan?
Correct.
Becomes satisfied. They refer in other people. They tell in other people. And then the third part of it is the management, the finance of that money, the management of the cash. Because as you know, when you run out of cash, you have nothing. You have nothing. So foundation level, including how do we do sales? How do we do marketing? And having a strong brand is critical.
Yes.
Having a very strong brand where people come across your brand. And why is it important to have a strong brand? One is when they come across it, they automatically trust it. They have an emotional and psychological outlook on that brand. Like I love Apple, right? And if Apple releases something and I want to buy it, I don't even have to think, do I need to check this or check this? I know that I can trust the Apple brand. And so having a strong brand, doing your marketing from there. But I think to 10x, you have to look at a picture differently. And also the most important thing is, if you don't have that mindset, let's say you are $1 million a year. Now you are going to go to $10 million a year, or $10 million a year, you're going to go to 100 million. If you have to create a different mindset, because the mind, the current mind you have got you to here.
Yep.
To get there, it's a different set of thinking, different set of associations of people that you need to come across. The willingness to invest in the key people, critical suppliers who can help you there to get there.
So it's a combination of all these things. Education is very important. Very important to start with. It's a combination of all these things. Now, you spoke about brand. First question to you. What's the difference between marketing and branding in layman terms? Somebody who has no idea. How can you break it up into what is marketing? What is branding?
The way I look at it, and people will describe it, will talk differently in all the way I look at marketing and branding. For a small business, I think both are important.
Yes.
For small businesses, often they don't put as much attention on brand, but it's very important. So marketing is the process of identifying the right prospects who are willing to give you money for the products or services that you have. So it's a process of identifying them and then attracting them to say, hey, I think this is for me. Now,
so it's like a process of generating leads for your product or service.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it. Branding, however, is different. Branding there's so much to it that when you think about any brand that you often buy from, why do you buy it from them? Well, there's just a trust element. So the brand in itself is to create trust. And that trust comes from creating the right, there's a lot to it. So you work with any brand advisor or strategist, there's so much to it. And people think it's just your logo. It's not just a logo.
Yeah.
It's the colors, it's the logo, it's the what's the emotional story? What's
Correct.
the story behind this? What's the feeling that people get when they interact with this product? Yeah. There's a psychological output. How do they think when they come across this? What's the colors? The colors symbolize things.
Correct.
Some people just get AI to just do a logo for them, or they get someone to create a logo, and they haven't even thought through what the colors mean. Every color signifies something.
Correct.
Every symbol, and it's symbolism. And these symbols signify something from a psychological and from an emotional point of view. And so there's someone I was talking to who's and he said this, Mac, and I started looking into this. I thought, this is clever. He said there's a difference between brand and branding. Brand and branding. And a brand is what you have that people trust and they'll buy, whether it's IBM, Toyota, they know what they're getting.
Correct.
Whether it's Apple, they know what they're getting. Branding is the process of creating that brand.
That's a very simple way of putting it, but a very powerful way of putting it. For me, brand is a promise.
It's a promise, yes.
It's a promise. You say, this is what I stand for.
Yeah.
Which means when you buy my product or service, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And as you rightly said, today, if you really want to grow 10x, I think branding is very, very important. People need to know who you are, why do you stand for, what will happen irrespective of whatever I buy from you.
Yeah.
We know that's going to happen again. Now, as we're talking about brand, how much is personal brand is very, very important in today's market?
You know, when you think historically as well, not even now, those who have had strong personal brands, and have done it the right way, has led people or leads into the business brand. So when you think about some of the so nowadays you can't get away from it. If you say that this is what I do, people automatically are checking you out on Google, on Instagram or whatever, Facebook. And so what these channels say about you is who you are, not what you say you are. You can say, I'm blah, 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 blah. Okay. So then they go to LinkedIn and it says this. And then they go into your Facebook and it says something else. And then they go into your Instagram. So personal brand is so important, especially as we know people are going to check you out. So are they going to trust you when they come across
Yeah.
this information, this external information? So it's not what you are saying,
Yeah.
but what these channels are saying about you and what other people are saying about you. So in this day and age, as an entrepreneur, you can't get away with it. It's critical that you build your personal brand.
Because we are living in a perception world.
Yeah.
Because they're going to check it out and they're going to make a decision, or they're going to make a person based on seeing what they're seeing in social
Yes.
media. So social currency is very, very, very important.
Absolutely.
So that's why building personal brand, it is a must, irrespective of who you are.
Yeah.
Even for an employee, I feel. Even for an employee,
Yes.
not only for
Yes.
business owners. No matter what you do, you might be a consultant, you might be an employee.
Yeah.
You need to build a personal brand.
I agree.
Because no matter, first time when people get to know you, they're going to search for you, like rightly
That's
said,
right.
right? They're going to check you on Google, they're going to check you on a Facebook, Insta, or
Yeah.
LinkedIn, or whatever platform,
Correct.
and check what it says, right? And that's how people make their opinion about you.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Now, marketing. First question. Let's talk small, medium business owners. Do you need a lot of money for marketing, or is there any strategies where no, you don't need a lot of money, but still you can market? Can you share about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can create something that can go viral, and that viral video or thing that you create is being shared, if you do that, so do you need a lot of money? If you have a lot of money, yeah, you use it the right way. If you don't, it's about getting creative. So can you create something that creates a buzz? So much so that people are making inquiries. They want to know more. What is this thing? And so I think it's about creativity. So some of the people that we've worked with, where they don't have a lot of money, what can you do? Right? So we've had people doing things very, very differently. And I say to them, you don't need big, expensive cameras, but can you, just on your phone, tell a story? Can you do something as the reason why people should buy from you? But can you do it consistently? Do it consistently and start telling that, because people buy from your story, whether you like it or not.
People buy you, not your product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell the story, and in the world we live in now, there's organic and there's paid.
Correct.
And if you don't have a lot of money for paid, then there's so much you can do from an organic point of view. So get creative, tell the story, and lead them to your product or your service.
So be real, be authentic, tell your story, do it consistently. Again, you go back to the discipline. You have to do it every single day.
Consistently.
So that's one way you can get your organic leads going in, and of course, your business coming. Anything else would you suggest, even if I don't have money, apart from that?
Okay, so let's talk about marketing and the fundamentals of marketing. The fundamentals of marketing has been the same for hundreds of years. One is you've got to understand what problem you are solving. And where most people go wrong in their marketing is that, one of the key questions I often ask is this: if you want to do marketing, why would anyone give you their money?
Yes.
Why are people going to give you their hard-earned money, transfer it from their bank account and put it in your bank account, from their purse, from their pocket to your? Why? Because essentially, they have a problem that they don't want, and the result they want but they don't have. Let me repeat: they have a problem that they don't want, and the results they want but they don't have. So what most people do, they create a product and then they try and sell it. And I said, who's this for? They say, everybody. And I say, look, you've got to say, so I take them back to, okay, think about this. So I say, park your thing for a moment, your product. It's not about your product or your service. What's the problem? Which group of people have got that problem? And once you know what their problem is and you know who they are, then we're going to create the product to satisfy them. Because that's ultimately they're going to buy it because they've told you they've got a problem. Now that makes marketing much easier than you creating a product, then trying to sell it and trying to market it and you don't know. So once you've got a product, then we're going to put a price on it. What's the ideal price that this has to be to get to the right people? Sometimes if you're aiming at these people and it's too expensive, they won't buy. If it's too cheap, they won't buy. There's some countries Well, I've got clients in Dubai. If it's too cheap, they won't buy.
Correct.
It has to be a premium price product. Once we know what the price is, then we're going to look at what platform we're going to use to get the message out. When I say platform, I'm talking about whether it's exhibitions or social media or door-to-door or phone calls, whatever it is. But these are 5 key Ps that I take people through. That essentially, if you can follow these 5 Ps, which was what I said: problem, people, product, price, platform. If you can answer these questions, your ability to do marketing becomes much easier. But now with the platform, you've got to send out the consistent message. This is the problem you have. I know you got this problem. And I know you feel this way with this problem. There's an emotion that you feel. Now we have a solution. This is the solution we have. And then make your offer. So I'm simplifying it, but there's a lot to it. But these are the fundamentals, the basics of marketing. And most people don't even think about the problem that person has.
Correct.
They come in from my product
is
wonderful.
This is my product, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
they got
and
it. Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Exactly.
Now, as you're talking about that, you meet a lot of business owners, Mac, correct?
Yeah.
You meet a lot of business owners, correct? What is the perennial challenge you find? Because one of the things I believe is the business owner is the bottleneck in the business. The most times I see people, right? They are the bottleneck, but they don't realize it. So what is the major challenges you feel? Is there a pattern you see? This is the major things I see. Is there anything like that?
I meet lots of business people. And I suppose because of my education company, the type of business people who are coming to us is they've sensed that something's not quite right. They're trying to grow or scale to another level. Something's not quite right. And so the perennial problem often is around lack of knowledge. Yeah, and we know, being in business for many years, what is the biggest detriment to any business? Well, you'll be out of business when cash runs out.
Correct.
You're finished. Cash flow is the biggest problem. So once you're doing your marketing and sales correctly and cash flow is not an issue, often your time becomes an issue. It's when you need to have the right structures, the right team of people. But essentially, the perennial problem is lack of knowledge in order to move to the next level, move to your next level. So we get lots of different people, different issues. Sometimes they think it's a marketing issue. And I say to them, look, you don't really have a marketing issue. Let me show you. Let me see your database. Oh, they've got a database, 10,000 people. When was the last time you remarketed to them?
Yes.
Oh, we don't do that. So they focus on the front end marketing, but they're not utilized. So look, different problems, whether it's sometimes cash flow, sometimes it's leadership issues, sometimes it's customer service issues, sometimes there's so many different, and I always boil it down to lack of knowledge.
Correct.
Lack of knowledge, lack of support. That's it.
Mostly lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Even I agree, because I think it's a matter of learning. If they're open to learning, they'll be able to find what is the problem and figure out a way to solve the problem, build the team, build the leadership. And it's just a matter of learning.
That's it.
And most times they're the bottleneck because they're holding it together and they're not seeing it.
Yeah.
And they're just stuck there.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some businesses which are not relevant anymore, but some business owners have been doing for 10, 15 years. And they tell me the story that, Suryan, I only know this. What can I do? So what would your advice to be to them? What would your advice, right? Which means we know certain business become irrelevant after a certain time. A lot of disruptions happen. What is your advice for people like that?
Listen.
Where they're burning cash flow, basically the same thing you said.
Well, listen, the key question I ask these people, when a business owner comes to me and they seem lost, I ask them, what business are you in? Oh, I sell this, I do. That's the business. Now, what business are you really in? And they think. And then I give them some examples. I say, do you remember a company called Blockbuster? I don't know if we have Blockbuster here. There was a video rental company in Europe and America and Australia. And people, if you wanted to watch a film 20 years ago, a movie with a family on a Saturday, you went to a shop Remember that?
Yeah.
And you
Pick
bought a
up-
cassette.
Yeah.
Right?
Video
and then
cassette,
you,
yeah.
and you go and watch it for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. So Blockbuster, that's what they were in. Now, what business are they in? The video rental business, right? That's what they thought they were in. Not knowing that if they really thought about it, they were in the entertainment business.
Correct.
Do you know that Netflix, when they got into cash flow problems, approached Blockbuster and say, we would like to partner with you. We would like you to work with you because we have the online, we have this way of doing it. And Blockbuster said, no, we have something that's already going.
So that Blockbuster is a big company, been there for many years.
And Netflix was just a
came
nobody,
in-
small boy.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what happened? Later on, as we know, Netflix has become a multi-billion-dollar company. Blockbuster is no longer in business. Went out of business very quickly. Same as Kodak.
Yeah.
You remember Kodak?
Yep.
What did they believe they were? What business were they in?
Yeah.
Right. You remember the old days?
100%, yeah.
Do you remember you have to put a film in?
Yeah. And take a photo. Yeah.
And take photos. But they didn't want to get into the digital camera business.
Yes.
And digital camera is part of everyone's phone now.
Correct.
So what I'm saying to these business owners, think about what business you're in. And then ask yourself, what business am I really in? Because then what happens is you create a business which becomes future-proof, that you are moving with the times.
Correct.
Because otherwise you stagnate and things are happening in that arena that you're supposed to be playing in, but you think you're supposed to be playing in this small arena.
Correct.
So what if they stop doing that? Then what happens?
Yes.
What if nobody's buying that now? Then what happens? Same as when you go back to 150 years ago, where there were companies who were their whole business model was selling ice.
Correct. Yeah. There
Right?
used to be business
Chop
like that.
Yeah, they still business like that. Right. But then over time, when more and more homes had refrigerators,
Correct.
these ice companies no
Gone.
longer.
Yeah.
So what business are you in and what business are you really in? That's a question you must answer.
Yeah. So because I always believe that two businesses you're building, the business you are in right now,
Correct.
and the business you're going to be in the future.
Correct.
Very, very important questions,
Correct.
right? And what are you doing for that?
Yeah.
Because disruptions are happening every single day. Thanks to technology, it's going to get faster now.
Much faster.
Yeah, with AI, everything is going to faster. If you're not focusing like that, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Mac, tell me this, Mac. Now, you've traveled across the world. You see a lot of business owners. One thing I feel, seeing you, I feel energy and stamina very, very important to run a business, right?
Yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very, very
yeah.
important. Now we'll tell your age. You're 55.
I am, yeah.
I know you can pass off for a mid-30s and no one will know. You're 55. Can you talk about your fitness regime and why being fit, energy, stamina is very, very important?
One of my highest values, Suren, is health. There was a time when my health wasn't great. I told you the story about I was sitting in the car
Yeah.
and my hands on the wheels, crying, sobbing, feeling like I'm a failure. What I didn't tell you was that morning, my wife said to me, Mac, our daughter needs to go for a checkup at the doctor. And can you take her? I said, no, darling, look, I'm very busy. I've got to get to the office. People are waiting for me. And remember, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
She said, I don't feel so well. She's got an appointment. Please take her. So I take her. And she gets her checkup. She gets a prescription for something. And then I have to drop her to nursery, then go to work. And while I'm there, the doctor says to me, Mr. Attram, we never see you. How are you? I said, I'm okay. Everything's good. Can you book an appointment to come and see us? In fact, while you're here, do you mind if we do a quick checkup on you? Yeah. While you're here, I said, no, I'm busy. I'll do that booking. No, it'll take a few minutes. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. They strap their heart monitor thing on me.
Okay.
And I'm looking at her face. I'm not looking at her. And her face,
The doctors.
the doctor's face was like in shock. I said, what's happened? She said, okay, just relax. And then they did it
Your
again.
blood pressure.
My blood pressure. She said, no, there's something wrong. And cut a long story short, I need to send you to take some blood, get some blood analysis and done. Your blood pressure is very, very high. And I started thinking that family members strokes,
Yes.
blood. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's me now. So all day, well, so I drop my daughter, go to work, and all day this is playing in my mind. All day. That evening, 5 minutes from my home, when I stopped the car, I just sat there going, this is my life. Anyway, I went for the blood analysis and all the rest of it. That moment was a shock for me. So much so, and I said, okay, now I've got to look. So I studied, when I say I studied business, health, nutrition. I studied everything because I wanted to have a good life. And so my health regime now, so I went into praying more. I went into meditating and really looking after myself from a spiritual point of view, spiritual health, mental health, physical health. So already I was doing the taekwondo, I was doing the martial arts, I was practicing, that's fine. But I started looking at the food I eat. What am I eating? Is it nutritious or not nutritious? Because most of the food wasn't nutritious for me. I was just eating it for, we just eat for comfort. It's just food. But the food does affect your body. And so I started taking my health seriously because I realized that, yes, you can have all the money in the world, but if your health is not there, if you don't have your health, the money doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
It means nothing at all.
Yeah.
And so I started programming myself. Okay, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, how do I feel? How am I living? How am I doing things? Can I keep up with my children? Can I do? And so that became a point of clarity, a point of hunger that I want to be fit and feel young and vibrant for as long as I can. And so I have a regime that I eat a certain way, I drink a certain way, I look after my health a certain way, all because of how I want to feel.
Is there a routine you want to share with us? What do you do every day? What do you eat?
Sure. My routine. Well, first of all, what do I eat? I'm a pure plant-based vegan.
Okay.
Pure plant-based vegan. So what does that mean? So I don't eat. What happened was, when I said I started studying, I studied and there was coaches that I had in nutrition, because sometimes I was flying different places and I'll be getting tired. And I was like, okay, so this coach would then show me, do some analysis, bloods, and say, okay, good. How do you look up? And then I realized that certain foods made me lethargic. So over time, I took out all meat from my diet. So we're talking 20 years, 15 years. I started taking out meat. Then maybe a few years later, I took out chicken and all the time and assessing. Took out fish because there were certain chemicals and mercury that was being detected in my body. But I love chicken. I love fish.
Yeah.
But you tell me I'll be taking, are you crazy? Every time I go to my family, there's so much chicken and fish. But then eventually, 15 years ago, I think all the dairy products, the cheese, the paneer, the milk, all these things were cut out.
Cut off. Okay.
And so going through these stages made me more vibrant, made me even more energetic. And I was saying to you recently that every year my wife and I would go for a full body check. And at the age of 55, look, 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, the analysis came back and it showed that, everything's clear. There's no problem. No, I'm not on medication for anything.
Nothing.
I meet up with my friends. They got cholesterol problems. They got diabetes problems. They're telling me all and I'm just sitting there going, wow, that could have been me.
Yeah.
If I hadn't experienced what I experienced, that could have been me. No blood pressure problem. No all these things because of change. So the results came back even last week and 2 weeks ago rather. And my metabolic age is 42.
Wow.
And I'm 55.
Okay.
That means...
Which means your body is working for the age of 42. That's how the body is right now.
That's right. My body is at the age of... my body is the age of early 40s in terms of how my body is operating. But physically, I've been on this earth for 55
So
years.
anyone can do it. It's just a matter
Absolutely.
of discipline, focusing on what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And there's no one fit for all, no, Mac. They need to understand what their body is.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone's got to be plant-based vegan. I'm just going to say what works for you.
Yeah.
For me, again, it was about the education. But how did I get the education? I was hungry to make sure I'm still there for my family. I got clarity in terms of what I needed. So I got the education. I got, okay, clear. I got support. I got the discipline. The discipline's so critical because it's easy to give up.
Yes.
But why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? So this way of living became a lifestyle for me. It's not a diet. People say, oh, what's your diet? No, it's not. It's a lifestyle. Everything I do is a lifestyle. People say, like, people texting me, oh, you just came back from Switzerland and you're going to India. Oh, why? It's a lifestyle. I choose to work that way. I choose to do the things that I want to do. Same as my sports, same as Taekwondo. It's a lifestyle. It's not somebody told me to do it, but I know the reason why I'm doing it. It's a lifestyle that I've chosen.
So now it becomes a habit. You don't need to think, you just do it.
Yeah.
It's just secondhand for you.
Exactly.
Now you come to India to do a program called Millionaire Mind Intensive. And I believe every Indian middle class has to do this program. Because it talks about money blueprint. Can you talk about what this 3-day program is all about? Why every middle class Indian should do it?
Excellent. Right. The Millionaire Mind Intensive program was developed by T. Harveka, and he had been doing this for over 30 years. It's a fantastic program. This is one of the programs that changed my life. These 3 days changed my life. And the benefit of people doing it is it's in India.
Yeah.
When I did it, flew from London to the USA, Los Angeles.
Wow. I did it in Malaysia, Mac.
You did it in Malaysia?
2007, first time Harveka came to Malaysia. I flew to Malaysia to do the program. It changed my life. Yeah, carry on.
Exactly. So whilst it's in your country, do it. Why? Because all of us have already programmed within our subconscious mind a money, what he calls a money blueprint, or sometimes you can call it a money thermostat. A thermostat. It's either set for high or set for low. And if you don't understand, and that money blueprint is really running our financial life. So we often ask the question, is your money blueprint set for a high level of financial success, financial mediocrity, or financial failure?
Yes.
And for some people, they are on this hamster wheel, spinning the wheel, not realizing why maybe they're not moving forward. Why is it they're making money, but at the end of the year, where's the money gone?
Correct.
What's happened? And so when you understand your money blueprint, you start operating your money situation differently. That's number one. Excuse me. Number two is this. Number two is, once you understand your money blueprint, how are you managing your money? So part of the Millionaire Mind Intensive is for you to understand and learn the money management system. And some people think they have a money management system in terms of money comes in, they pay their bills, and that's it. Some people, money comes in, they pay their bills, they do a little bit of saving, and that's it. But once you have a proper money management system, you can actually have a good and enjoyable life.
Correct.
Without feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Like, how can you enjoy your life with the money you're making, have good savings, have good investments, enjoy time with your family, which we call the play jar, enjoy the fruits of what the world has to offer? It's a money management system. Some people feel guilty when they have to spend a little bit of money.
Correct.
But if you set it up the right way, there is no guilt.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have to understand the money habits you have didn't come from you.
Yes.
They came from somewhere. And often it's been ingrained into your subconscious from other sources. Sometimes parents, guardians, grandparents, family, culture, TV, so many different areas. And once you understand that my money situation or my money habits is not me, now you can stand back and look at it and observe it and make different set of decisions. Now, 3 is so important. 3 is how you treat money and how you behave around money will determine your level of money success.
Correct.
Because your thoughts about money, your feelings about money. So even your thoughts and actions and feelings and actions around money will determine what kind of results you get. So if your thoughts are that you don't deserve to be rich, some people have these subconscious thoughts that they've learned from, whether it's a place of worship or the temples, that money is for, not for. If you live in those things, then you'll operate. If you have those money thoughts, you'll operate from there. Like some people have, they've heard these. If you've ever heard these things, if you've ever heard rich people are evil, rich people are greedy, money doesn't grow on trees, all these things are actually limiting beliefs. They are non-supporting things, disempowering thoughts that affects your money in the long run. So when you come to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, all these things are available to you, and you start looking at it and realize that, maybe, just maybe, that's why I just don't seem to be moving ahead. So if you are, working class, middle class, you want to really improve in money, come to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, because you'll start to realize what you have to do now. And this is not something that someone can tell you to do.
Correct.
Right? Like you said earlier on, all the information that you need is freely out there. ChatGPT, AI, Google, YouTube, freely out there. So why aren't more people rich? Because it's one thing to know what to do, and it's something totally different to do what you know.
Correct.
So the what I loved about the Millionaire Mind Intensive when I went is I had to suddenly face this mirror. Correct. And make decisions and start changing. Whereas the instructor can give you the facilitation, give you the information, but you are now forced to take action. And taking that action is what's going to make the real change.
I agree, Mac, because when I met in 2007, I was making money, but the money used to come and go, and I had no idea why.
Why?
The way the 3 days has been designed, right? Because day one, you get a workbook where you fill a certain set of questions on thinking on how do you think about money. Because it's like a mirror, tells you what's your money blueprint, and the program actually reprograms your money blueprint. End of 3 days, you see the same questions, your answers are different now.
Yes.
That's the power of the program.
Yes.
And it took me 7 years to convince Havekar to bring it to India. And 2014 is when we bought it. And you came for the first time MMI to teach it. I still remember with Havekar. Now we run this program across the country. And of all the things Success Gyan does, I take great pride in doing Millionaire Mind Intensive. Because I believe once people go through the 3 days program, that's a start for a different way of living.
Yeah.
That's a start for financial freedom. So again, I want to take this time to thank you for coming and doing MMI from 2014. And the number of people who have shifted through this program is mind-blowing. Now, is there any specific message you want to give for people watching this? If you just have to give any message or a piece of advice for people watching this podcast, what would that be?
Wow. Okay. The message I would say would be progress is happiness. If you are in a place where you are not satisfied or things are not going well, then you've got to realize that progress equals happiness. What do I mean by that? Havekar says this: if you're not growing, you are automatically dying. And so you have to find a way to grow. Go and get some books on the areas that you want to develop in. Personally, I value more experiential education rather than academic education. Academic education is good. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to be a rocket scientist, you want to be a scientist, you have to learn these academics.
Correct.
But if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful in money and wealth, you've got to go and get the experiential training that will transform you. I value that much more, that transformational journey. So progress equals happiness. So when you're learning, you are growing. When you're not learning,
you're dying.
You're dying. So don't worry about the challenge you have now. Yes, you'll feel it, and it's a challenge and it's painful. But once you start growing, you realize that when you grow beyond that challenge, that it was just a temporary challenge. And here's the thing that we know. The moment you say, I want to be at this next level, that's when the real challenges happen.
I totally agree, Mac. But those are challenges which help you evolve and grow.
Exactly.
I actually get excited when I get a new challenge.
Yeah.
Because I think that's nature's way of telling you it's time for you to evolve and grow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mac, I know we can talk for us, right?
Yes.
The number of conversations we can have and everything is valuable. But I'm going to do let's bust some myths, right?
Okay.
My team gave me a set of questions which I'm going to ask you now. Let me know what these are, right? The first one, entrepreneurs are born, not made. You either have it or you don't. What do you think about it?
Entrepreneurs are born. I think some entrepreneurs have a natural tendency to do good business, but most are not. And some people resist doing business because they think, oh no, the ones who succeed are. But what they don't realize is that you can learn how to do business. You can learn how to do business.
It's a learnable skill.
It's a learnable skill, absolutely. So for me, my first business was failing, but I went and learned how to do it properly with people who've already done it. And I just followed their system and it worked. So you can do the same.
So everyone listening, you don't need to be born with it. If you're open to learning, if you're willing to work on yourself, you can build a business. Okay, that's a great one.
Correct.
You need an MBA to be a successful entrepreneur.
Wow, that's a myth. That doesn't, because when you think about there's been lots of billionaires who, some of them never even went to school.
Yes.
But they figured it out on their path, on their way. And you know what I've discovered over many years? The ones that have the MBAs often have more of the resistance and the self-limiting beliefs that they can't do it. But when someone doesn't have the MBA and they are hungry, this is where the hunger comes again, to create a life for themselves or create a lifestyle or create something, they will figure it out. You know, I travel around the world, as you know, and some countries I go to, there are people who will not be able to eat until they sell something today.
Wow.
They carry the thing on their head. They won't. If they can't sell, they don't eat. And now some people coming to me, I want to start my business. I want to grow my business. Oh, but this social media thing, yeah, you mean I have to do a video? And I said, look, there are people who they will not eat. And you doing a video, you showing your face, you don't want to do that? You try carrying things around the street for 12 hours a day in order to feed your family. Oh, okay, this one looks a bit easier.
Yes, totally agree. Next one. Running a business means no personal life.
Some business owners have created that situation for themselves because of lack of knowledge. And they have learned these habits maybe from someone, that to have a business, you have to work all hours that they're in. It's a different mind. Look, there are people who every Monday, they're playing tennis. There are entrepreneurs, they're playing golf every Monday.
Yes.
Right? So what's the difference between them and their business is growing than the person who's working all these hours? It's a different mindset. It's so what we teach in our company is helping people move from what we call business operator to a business owner. A business owner is like you own the business. You're treating the business as an asset. But as a business operator, you believe the business is you. And if the business is you, it doesn't have the capacity to grow.
You're still an employee working for yourself.
There you go. You're still, all you've done is created another job for yourself. And that was not your intention. So move from business operator to business owner. Remember, the business is an asset you're building. It's not you. So to build that asset means you need structure, you need a team of people, you need support, you need the right systems, and then take it from there.
Totally agree. You will be your own boss and have lots of free time.
As a business owner?
Yes.
So you'll be your own boss
and have lots
of free time. So, right, okay, yes, you'll be your own boss, but two, like we just said, you could inadvertently create a job for yourself. So if you don't set up your business the right way, you actually have more free time when you had a job.
Actually, yeah.
Right? So you've got to structure it the right way that if you want more free time, you set up your business in a way that it's serving you rather than consuming you.
I got it. Branding is only for big companies.
branding is mostly for big companies. Well, a lot of people think that. But if you can start building a strong brand, whether that's personal brand leading to a business brand, like we said, it becomes your promise, if you like, and people start trusting you. And so if you're starting your business now, make sure you go through a branding process. I highly, highly recommend it because it'll save you a lot of time and headache. Because whoever you're working with, a brand strategist, and there are different levels. Some charge really high, some won't charge as much, but essentially they need to pull out your core story, your philosophy, your values. They need to then advise you in terms of your guideline, your branding guideline, what colors to use, what logos to create, all these things. Because you are sending, that is all part of your message in the marketplace. And when people come across you consistently and you're doing things consistently, then you build that brand that they trust. And when they buy from that brand, they are getting the promise that you initiated.
So irrespective of small or big, branding is very, very critical if you really want to build something very big.
I believe so, definitely.
If you build a great product or service, customers will automatically come.
If you build a great product and service, well, they won't automatically come. There is a saying that build it and they'll come. But the thing is, you can build it, but if you can't market it, then they're not going to come. You can have the best product on earth. You can have the best service on the earth. But if you cannot market the right way, they will not come, right? You remember? I don't know if you remember. I show my age sometimes. Many years ago, we had two main video not cassette makers, the machines where you can watch put a cassette in and watch.
Yeah.
We had Betamax and we had VHS.
Yeah, VHS.
You remember VHS?
India had VHS, yeah.
Right. Betamax was much better product,
Okay.
but they could not market correctly.
Okay.
VHS took over
Yeah.
and cornered the market.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about Betamax and VHS, the whole world had access to both.
Correct.
But VHS marketed it the right way.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not build it and they'll come. Build it, market it the right way, and then you'll make money.
I agree, Mac, because best known will any day beat best.
Yes.
As simple as that.
Simple as that. You
Best
said it.
known any day beat best.
You said it.
You need a huge marketing budget to compete with big players.
To compete with big, well, if you, like we said earlier on, if you can find a way to market, which is a bit more organic, you don't need a big market you don't need a big budget to compete with big players. It helps. But what I say to people is when you are a small business, remember the big players they have huge pockets, a lot of money. So they can cast their net wide. Your job as a small business owner is to cast your net small. Create your niche, create a hungry group of buyers who are going to buy from you. Market to them first, right? It'll save you a lot of money, save you a lot of energy, and it gets very focused. Once these people are buying and keep repeating buying, then it will spread out. So you don't need a big budget. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to do things more organically, but do it consistently. And so we know that I say to a lot of business owners, what is cheaper? Marketing to your existing clients or looking for new clients? And some people say, well, actually getting new clients. And I say, that's very expensive.
Yes.
Time, energy, money-wise. So once they're in, look after them. Look after them so they keep repeating and referring you and coming back as well.
Correct. You need a lot of startup capital or significant funding to get a business off the ground.
Right. Okay. So that depends on what type of business you're going to be running. If you're running a manufacturing-based type business or a company that needs a lot of R&D, research and development, then possibly yes. But for most businesses, if you can launch the right way, you don't need a big budget.
Okay.
So if you, especially the way we teach it, is one of the principles we teach is pre-launch. And that pre-launch means that this group of people who have this problem, you're letting them know, hey, I've got a solution that's coming very soon. That's going to answer your problem. This product, so it's going to answer your solution. And if you want that, I highly recommend you get onto our waiting list.
Okay. Wow.
Right? Get onto our waiting list now. Now, because they've got the problem, they're interested.
Correct.
You're not asking for their money yet. Now, you go through a process that you say, hey, this is coming by such and such date. Now, we only have a limited number. If you want one of those, make sure you leave a deposit or buy now and it'll be delivered to you first. Now, remember, all that has just been marketing. You haven't done your full launch yet.
Correct.
So when they are buying, you're going to use that money then to do what you need to do. So if you can launch in that way, and people are buying before you actually launch the business or you launch the product, you're making money now.
Correct.
So once you launch, can you repeat the process?
Correct.
Right? So it depends how you do business, how you do marketing, how you do your sales. If you do it the right way, you don't need a big budget.
Correct. This is the last one, but I think it's my personal favorite myth, and I want you to break it. Debt is bad.
Oh, debt is bad. Right. I used to think that debt is bad. But what I've realized is that there is good debt and there is bad debt. Now, if you borrow money, credit cards, loans, whatever, and you go and buy luxury stuff with it, you go and buy the fast car and you go and buy this and you go and buy that, you're creating what we call liabilities. Those liabilities means that whoever you borrow the money from, they need their money back. They want their money back. But the other type of debt you can have is what we call good debt, which is assets. And these cash flowing assets specifically. So I'm going to borrow some money. I'm going to put it into this particular asset, and this asset is going to give me a return on an ongoing basis. It's like Robert Kiyosaki says, it's either putting money into your pocket or taking money out.
Correct.
So if liabilities are taking money out of your pocket and no returns, that's bad debt. So I intentionally borrow millions and millions and millions of pounds. And I use those millions of pounds to create assets. Different assets, business assets, property assets. And those return a lot of money back to me. So I love debt. I love debt. Years ago when I was 100 grand in debt, it was through bad choices, bad debt. And so it took me years to reprogram my mind that actually I can use good debt to create even more money.
So debt, the way you use it, if it's going to put money in your pocket, it's good debt.
Yes.
Correct. It's as simple as that. Okay, we have a tradition in Greater Than Podcast.
Sure.
Mac, okay. We call it 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
So I'm going to ask you questions on 3, 2, 1 and you're going to answer. Okay, I'm going to start with 3. What are your 3 core values which has helped you reach where you are right now?
Wow. Okay, so 3 core values, if I can break it down, one would be faith. That means my spiritual practice, my belief in God, my living a purposeful life. So faith. The other core value would be family. For me, family is so important that I came from a family that was a bit, growing up was a bit disrupted. It wasn't that great. So I focus on really having the kind of family that, and I think you've met my family.
Yes.
So faith, family. If another F be finance.
Okay, you got all 3 Fs.
Because I was going to say money, but it's finance. So I struggled from a financial point of view for many years until I figured out, okay, this is how money really works. This is what money is. This is what money does. This is how you utilize this money. This is how you manage money. So those are the 3
so
core
it's
values.
faith, family, finance.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have a lot of teachers and mentors. If you just have to single out 2 teachers who you're very indebted to or very grateful for, who are the 2 teachers?
There are so many. There's so many. Okay, so when I think about my transition in the early days, struggling in my first business, turning that around, it really happened when I met these 2 teachers. One was T. Harv Eker, who got me to think about money and business in a different way. And the other teacher was Blair Singer. And Blair Singer was the kind of person who, how can I put it? He was disciplined and he helped me to develop my character. I remember being in a seminar with him many years ago, And one of my bad habits showed up,
Okay.
and he fined me. I had to pay. He wouldn't let me back in class. I said, this is what I'm doing out there. That moment changed the way I operate from a character point of view. That's, again, the discipline I got from a coach, from someone that would have looked at it, because I like that. Because from my martial arts background, that's how it is. You did it or you didn't do it. There's no stories.
Correct. No stories, right?
No stories. So those two teachers, but I've had lots of different teachers, but those two, at a time when I was at my lowest point, helped me
Okay, it's
turn
T.
things around.
Harvaker and Blair, our very own
Singer.
Blair.
Yeah.
But the last one, what do I go for? Okay. If you look at a 20-year-old Mac, what would that one piece of advice you'll give now? If you look at your 20-year-old Mac, if you look at your old self.
Wow, good question. If I look at my old self, what advice would I give my 20-year-old self? I would say take more risks quicker, make mistakes quickly in your 20s, because you'll figure it out.
That's a good one, right? That's a good one for everyone watching, right? Just go do it.
Go and do it.
Yeah, just do it. Don't think too much. Just do it. And that's the only way you learn. The only way you learn is by making mistakes. But don't do the same mistake again.
That's right.
Just learn from it and move on. And that's how you grow. Because best way to be successful is double your failure rate. I think Brian Tracy said that, right? Double your failure rate. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you, Mac. Okay, Mac, we have one more tradition in Greater Than Podcast. We have set of affirmation bands.
Okay.
And we always tell people who come to our podcast to choose one which resonates with them. Let me know what works for you. You can take the bands and check it out.
Let's have a look. There. Let's have a look. This one here. My progress is greater than me.
Okay, I have my purpose greater than me. You have my progress. Okay, I know you're a progress man. You said earlier in the podcast also, right? So progress.
I'm going to take. Do I wear it now?
Yes, you can go ahead and choose.
My progress is greater than me. Yeah, like I said, progress is happiness.
Yep.
If you're not growing, you are dying. So thank you so much. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for staying till the end. This podcast is about helping you shift perspectives, push your limits, and take steps that actually move you forward. Just remember that you're greater than anything life throws at you. I am Surendran Jayshekhar signing off. We'll see you again next Friday at 8 p.m. Until then, love yourself. Don't take life too seriously. Live a life of meaning and purpose.